What's up, everyone? This is going to be the fourth and final tank guide for this season. I might do one for Shadowlands, I don't know yet. Let me start off by saying that these basic tank guides are for, I would garner to say, the 99% of the WoW community who run Mythic plus dungeons. I once read a statistic somewhere that only 1% of the Mythic plus community actually run Mythic keys above 15. If you've never done anything above 15, anything between a 10 and a 15, it's the same stuff. There are no new affixes. The dungeon doesn't change. The mobs just hit harder and they have more health. Now the same goes from 15 and up. They just hit even that much harder and have even more health. So these tank videos, these tank guides, skill sets that I talk about is for the 99%, and they're for pretty much all tanks. I mean, we talk about situational awareness, knowing the dungeon, knowing your class, taking a better look at your class, you know. So I give advice for the 99%. I could run 15s, but I don't. And I'll tell you why. People leave too much. Something goes wrong, and at the drop of the hat, they just leave and just ruin the key. And that ruins it for everyone. I've been in several of those around the 13, 14, 15-ish key range. But below, always a good time, pretty much. Pretty much a good time. You might wipe, and as long as keep a level head and you're cool about it, you know, who cares? When you are running a key below 15, you can wipe once or twice and you're still going to time it. Sure, not a problem. So let's begin. So in this one, I'm just going to talk about some of the things that we talked previously in part 2 and part 3 of the videos. You know, you got to keep a smooth run, or what I call the ebb and the flow, or the rhythm of combat. And it consists of looking at your healer, seeing how much they're healing, looking at the health of the party, looking at your party in retrospect, that if they're standing in too much poop, if they're not doing mechanics, if they're just not knowing the dungeon and not performing in an efficient manner, you're not going to be able to just pull and pull and pull and pull and pull. You're going to have to take things slow. But if they're Johnny on the spot, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and if they're DPSing things down and interrupting and kicking things and, you know, staying out of the poop and targeting who they're supposed to target, well then you know, hey, you can keep pulling, because they know the dungeon, they know what they're supposed to be doing. All you got to worry about is tanking, and that's what you want. That's what you want. That's the best scenario that you can get, is if healer's doing great, you as the tank, like I've always said, big packs, you should be out healing the healer. The healer should just have to heal you every once in a while, but most of the time just take care of DPS if they need. Now remember, all this is for, you know, keys 15 and below. Once you get above 15, then things are a little different. All right. So we talked about the rhythm of the combat, the ebb and the flow, and keeping things in a smooth run. You know, and one of those was looking at your party, determining if they're going to be a good, fast-paced party. Looking at the healer. Is the healer struggling to heal? Does the healer have to stop all the time and drink? Or if they're super mana efficient, you know, then good. It's up to you. You are in command, totally in command. And that's when knowing the affixes of what mythic week it is, you know. Is it necrotic, where you're just going to have to drop stacks if you're a dwarf, or if you're just going to have to run away and let stacks drop off? Is it sanguine, where you're going to have to place the puddles, you know, indiscriminately, hopefully away and out of the way? Because that's another thing, you know, you as a tank, you have to position the mob, the boss, the mobs, where the DPS can do their job. You know, if it's sanguine and you are laying the pools of sanguine all over the place where only you can DPS the boss or the mob, well, that's not very good now, is it? Because you're not going to be doing enough DPS to make up the difference, because you've placed it in a bad spot where your DPS can't do anything. So now boss fights, whatever. You know, you know as well as I do, if you've done enough mythic dungeons, the ads and the normal mobs are harder than the boss. I mean, the boss fights in mythic dungeons, for the most part, are a joke. But I mean, that's just the way it is, you know. So in part 3, we talked about more of controlling the battlefield and situational awareness, and where to position the mobs, you know, using your environment as a guide, which you're gonna have to do. I mean, you'll get to know the dungeons once you do them over and over and over, and you'll know where you can drag mobs to, and you'll end up starting to gauge safe distances between packs, so you can position yourself in between like two packs, and you know you're not going to be pulling the other pack, or you can be pulling a pack to a certain area so the healer and the DPS can follow you, so they're not pulling packs. And you'll be able to do that like secondhand, the more and more that you do a dungeon, and the more and more you become familiar with the dungeon and its environment. Another very important aspect of maintaining a smooth run is, you know, you've got to know your class. You just hands down, you have to know, as a demon, you know, as a death knight, when you first engage a pack of mobs, your health is going to drop dramatically, because you don't have like a protection paladin throws the Avenger shield out, and because of Azeroth traits, he will have an immediate absorb shield on him, so he will not be dropping health. But you as a death knight, you will. You know, you've got to know these things. You've got to play around it. You've got to know what you can do. You know, if you might want to start farming out shield trinkets, like the wraps from King's Rest. Those are very good. Or if you're lucky enough to get the tank trinket from the Zoth, that's the best, tank trinket in the game right now. It's an extra shield. One thing I know what I like to do is I like to pull a big group of mobs, put an absorb shield on, so I immediately have a shield. I'm going to be taking damage, but they're not going to be doing any damage to me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, another thing you got to do is also you got to position the mobs in a way, because no matter how good of the rest of your party is, you don't want to have a fight that has to be so close, so tight, to where the DPS has to be perfect so they don't pull other mobs. You know what I'm saying? Pull a group around a corner, pull the group back, do what you got to do, make it easy on them so there's room for error. So if you've got like a hunter or a demon hunter, and he or she does a fell rush, that they're not fell rushing right into another pack of mobs. If you do little things like that, will make the run go faster. I guess that falls on trying to mitigate errors. Yep, error mitigation. That's exactly what that is. And not just for DPS, but for you also, because there could be some mobs that bounce you all around. You don't want to be bouncing to another pack. So I think one of the big things, probably one of the biggest things about tanking, is that you as the tank, you're the leader. DPS, they just want DPS. The healer, 9 times out of 10, the healer is looking at health bars, and which is another reason why the healer usually has some of the worst what's it called, the damage, the stupidity damage or whatever. Have you seen those add-ons where they tell you the stupidity damage, where this person got hit by this person stepped on this person activated this? Healers, sometimes not sometimes, I've seen it's a lot of times, they have some of the most damage because they're busy looking at health bars. They're almost they're training on little health bars instead of looking out for the environment. And they have to. Healers have a hard job. I know, I heal too. So tanking, you have a very unique position. You are the leader. You're controlling the flow of the combat. You're supposed to anyway. For example, on this pull right here, we just killed another pack. And I went to go pull another pack, and for some reason, the demon hunter over there pulled the big guy. So that kind of messed people up, and nobody killed the explosives, and they wiped us. Now, here's the thing, don't lose your cool. If you wipe, you wipe. So what? It's gonna happen. It's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal if you and your party keep wiping to the same thing over and over and over, and nobody's learning. But keep your cool. You as a tank, just say, hey, let me pull. Or just make light of it. already the demon hunter's like, oh damn, I just messed up, my bad, you know, and you don't want to berate the person or make him feel like shit. It's a video game, mistakes happen, you know. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's another reason why I don't run, you know, the higher keys, like the 15s and above, is because those type of people, they have a different mentality, you know. They look at it more competitively, you know, whereas I just look at it as a game. I just want to have some fun. I just want some loot, you know. And if we time it, excellent. If we don't time it, hey, I still want that completion. I still want that chest at the end. Whereas, you know as well as I do, if you run some 15s on the first wipe, it might be a simple mistake, but you're gonna have a great chance of people leaving because of one wipe, because of one person's mistake. That key's ruined. The key's done. Nothing, you know. And that's the worst thing ever. That's a topic for a whole different other video. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, it's control the battlefield, pull your mobs, mitigate the errors that could happen by pulling the mobs around a corner or back, or using, you know, pull one mob and do some line of sight tactics. If you're a tank and you don't do line of sight, then you're doing it wrong, because using line of sight is essential. Pull a mob, run around a corner, and run them around the corner, you know. And it always helps also when you're doing that to tell your party to, hey, LOS around the corner, you know. Let them in on what you're doing. Another thing, it's another tip, communication. You know, you don't have to tell them everything, but you do have to tell them the important things, you know. Hey, LOS around the corner. Hey, watch the patrol coming up. Certain things like that. Somebody makes a mistake, you know, as long as they don't keep making the same mistake, you know, just whatever, just blow it off. No big deal. It's just a game. Let's just continue on. Get that chest, get that loot, you know, and maybe we'll time it another time. I really love this dungeon freehold. It's so fun. I love tanking. I've tanked with demon hunters, death knights, guardian druids, brewmaster monks, and my favorite, the prop paladin. But tanking is tanking. The tank skill sets that's used for one tank can be applied for every tank there is. You know, the only thing different is what buttons to press. what abilities can you do? That's it. You're still gonna line of sight mobs. You're still gonna evaluate your party at the beginning of a dungeon, so you know what you're gonna be able to do. You're still gonna be looking at, you know, your healer's mana in between pulls. I mean, you're still gonna have cooldowns and defensives that you've got to know when to use. So we'll take this pull. We'll use this pull as one of the last examples. Big pull, big pull. Right here, I'm gonna show you. Okay, I'm self-healing with my absorbs up at 90k HPS. The healer is only healing for 23k HPS, which is what you want. You want that right there. Okay, so that way the healer isn't throwing out these huge, massive heals just to keep you alive. All right, so we just continue on. Good pull, good pull. Everything's going pretty good. Got to kill the explosives. I get a little low, but that's okay. The healer just fell off the bridge. I don't know if you saw that, but let's rewind. Okay. The healer is right up there, right behind that skull. Okay. Healer is jumping around. I don't know, maybe he's trying to avoid another rock or something, but he falls off the bridge right about now. Okay. I didn't notice it. I'm just trying to kill mobs and self-heal and kill explosives, and that's when I started noticing, oh wait a minute, people are dying. I'm self-healing like in the 100s. What's going on? Why is everyone dead? You know? Nope, I'm dead. And then the healer says, you know, I fell. I effing fell off. Man, look, it happens. Okay. I personally have never fell off there, but I've fallen in other dungeons, you know. So the healer says I fell off, and I just type LOL. It happens. You know, don't make a big deal. The dude already feels bad, so it happens. You know what I'm saying? Take your punches, roll on. It's just a video game. Have fun. Have fun. You as a tank, it's probably one of the funnest roles, I think, because you're in control. I love being in control. And you got a lot of responsibility, of course, but you know, I don't know, it's just fun. So control the battlefield, maintain the ebb and the flow of combat. Always look at your heals, look at your DPS, maintain situational awareness, know your class in and out. If you can master your class, then gravy. Knowing other classes helps tremendously. The more you know, just like that saying, the more you know, the more you grow. Exactly. The more you know about other classes, the more you are going to be a better tank. All right. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you follow those simple rules. Know your class. Be cool. You know. Never leave dungeons unless now, if you're trying to push a key and people are undergeared, or people just can't get a certain boss down. Like, I remember I was in a shrine for like 2.5 hours one time because people could not remember the interrupt order for the second boss. And we just kept wiping over and over and over and over for like over 2 hours on that wind shear, wind slice, or whatever spell it was. And we just couldn't do it after 2 hours. So finally I was just like, you guys just aren't getting it. And I'm tired and I'm going to bed. You know what I'm saying? You'll have extreme times like that. But for the most part, you know, you follow those simple rules and you're going to be successful 99% of the time. That's going to do it for me for now. So Shadowlands comes out. I really hope Shadowlands is going to be a fun expansion. I've got some mixed thoughts on it already, but that's for another video. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I hope everyone out there is being healthy and safe. Have a great day or night, and happy gaming.